Hi everyone, my name is Steph. This is the Novelty Corner and welcome back to my channel and welcome to my March monthly top 5 video where I wrap up the stats of March and talk about my top 5 books from the month. This video is coming out a little bit later. I do have my first quarter stats video that I did bring out first, but this one I wanted to bring out a little bit later because I'm talking about some books that I didn't talk about in videos until just this week because of scheduling of videos, so I thought it would be helpful to have this video come out just a little bit later. As per usual, I'm going to go through my monthly stats first and then I'm going to talk about the top 5 books, and I have got them. Are they in an order? They're sort of in an order. We'll talk about them. So in March, I read 75 books. I have carried 2 books over with me into April, including that education book that I still haven't finished reading because this is what happens with me in books about education. That's why I also usually don't track them in my spreadsheet because it gives me a headache. I also carried over A Short History of Nearly Everything by Bill Bryson. This book I have since finished. I finished it in the first couple of days of the month, but I did go from March into April. I read 13,794 pages. I DNF'd 8 books. My most read genre was romance, and then also the subgenre was contemporary romance across the month. I had $208.07 of library savings through listening to audiobooks. My Kindle Unlimited subscription after taking away the subscription cost was $21.65, and my ARC and review copy savings were $342.95. That said, I did buy like over $160 worth of books, so need to get better at that. In terms of videos that I released this month, I did put out 11 videos on my channel, which is amazing. Plus, I probably should do the stats for Kid Lit Joy, even though that's a different channel, just to say how many videos actually came out, because it does increase the numbers quite a bit. But I had 5 weekly Book Steep videos. I had my second Australian Romance Spotlight video. I had my February monthly top 5, my long weekend vlog, the first try chapter video for 2026, which featured 2025 books, my March buzzword vlog, and also the Love in the Night announcement video, which is happening as this video goes live, which is exciting. Let's talk about my top 5 books. I am going to put these in an order. Coming in at number 5 is Storm by Claire Saxby and Jess Ratcliffe. This is a picture book. I did receive it for review. It's part of a collection of books that both this author and illustrator have been releasing over the last couple of years, and they are amazing. We have one about icebergs, we have one about trees, we have one about volcanoes, and now we have one about storms. These are essentially narrative nonfiction titles that talk about incredible things that occur in nature. They are just stunning. Between Claire Saxby's incredible writing, which really weaves together the story in this book about how a storm rises and falls over the ocean and the impact that it has, the momentum that it has, while being paired with Jess Ratcliffe's incredible illustrations. They tend to use for the series watercolors, which is incredible for Storm. And the book itself very much starts and then rises to the peak of the story where you have these massive flip out pages to show the scale of a storm. And it's no secret that I've been a big fan of these books over the years. I've talked about them quite a bit. I use at least one of their books every year with my class. This could potentially be my favorite because I love storms. I love thunderstorms so much. And obviously there are some big devastating storms that happen, but like the storms that just cause you to stop and look outside and listen to the sounds and make you think about how incredible nature is and the power that weather can actually have is amazing. So I love Storm. It was always going to be on this list, even though it's a picture book. It was always going to boot something off the list because it had to be on here. Then I have After Tonight by Lady Marie, which is a novella. And this one features Desiree and Isaiah, and it is a firefighter and lawyer, brother's best friend story. It's very short. It's a contemporary romance. It's very steamy. These 2 characters have kind of been into each other for quite a long time, and this book is the first time that they act on it, and they act on it at a party. The thing that I really appreciated about this one, it's novella length, it's short. There is no angst in this. It's just them going, you know what? We're attracted to one another. Let's just do it. And it's great. I really, really enjoyed it. It was like the perfect thing to read at the middle of the month because I just read something quite heavy, and this was just like the perfect book to read. Lady Marie's writing is fabulous. Then we have 30 Love by Tom Vellner. I did have this as a NetGalley review copy. It's about Leo and Gabe. They've been rivals their entire professional playing career. They grew up training together and then they've ended up playing in Grand Slams against one another. And the entire book, we're in the perspective of Leo, who is about to turn 30. A lot of the books that I've been reading recently, it's all everyone having existential crisis about turning 30. Guys, I'm about to turn 40. Turning 30 is nothing. Also, turning 40 is nothing. I'm not having an existential crisis about turning 40, but I just find it really funny that every book I read, and granted, it is a lot of sports books, and I appreciate that in the sporting industry, once you hit a certain age, people start talking about retirement. But I think people need to change their perspective on that. Anyway, so Leo's about to turn 30. He hasn't won a Grand Slam. He's desperate to win a Grand Slam before that happens or when he turns 30. But every time he comes up against Gabe, for whatever reason, he just can't seem to beat him. And a lot of it is a mental game. Leo also has his dad, who is his coach, but through the course of the book, his dad has a stroke and is able to coach him less and less, which actually turns out to be a kind of a blessing in disguise, because Leo and his dad don't have complementary playing styles. His dad coaches one way, but Leo actually thrives playing in a completely different style. And so through the course of the book, we get to see Leo beginning to come into his own and actually understand that. And also repairing his relationship with his dad as a result of that, which is amazing. He also is not out, and he hasn't been able to have, you know, a relationship because there is no one out in professional men's tennis. And that all changes when Gabe comes out. And then Leo is watching as Gabe is constantly under the pressure of that in the sport. And the homophobia that he faces and the comments that people make. And he has a new appreciation for Gabe as a person. And the two begin to reconnect and begin to start up a friendship, and then also recognize they have a mutual attraction to one another, and then they end up in a relationship. It is great. It was a really, really good book. I really, really enjoyed it. Then we have Swordheart by T. Kingfisher, which is a fantasy romance book, and I thoroughly love this. So I've been sitting on reading this for a while. It is set in the world of the White Rat, so it's set in the same world as the Saint of Steel series and the Clocktail Wars books. So I'm now up, apparently, I think I'm up to date in this world, possibly. No one tell me if I'm wrong. I will figure that out on my own. This is the story of Halla, who unintentionally inherits the estate of an uncle who has passed. His family are fighting her for the inheritance. After they lock her into her bedroom and tell her that she is going to marry the nephew of her uncle, they're not blood related, that she had married into the family. She is contemplating all the ways of trying to either escape or to end her life, because she does not want to end up married to him. She wants the inheritance, because if she dies, her inheritance goes to her siblings as opposed to this family. She happens to notice that there is this sword that has been on the wall. She pulls it out, and when she pulls this sword out, a man turns up. He is a warrior who has been trapped inside the sword, voluntarily, more or less. His name is Sarkis, and when he realizes that she is in danger from her relatives, he helps her escape, and then they end up on a road trip to get help. So essentially she wants to petition the Temple of the White Rat, who are lawyers, to help her with managing everything that is going on. So as with all of T. Kingfisher's fantasy romance books, this is a road trip. Am I interested in reading a contemporary road trip? Not really. Fantasy one? Absolutely, especially set in this world, because I love all of the characters and the different creatures that we've met and the way that the world has been built up. Halla and Sarkis' relationship is really interesting. Through the course of the book, we know that there has to be a reason why Sarkis was, you know, put in the sword. And it's so fascinating. Like, I really, really enjoyed it. I was immersive reading it. I had the audiobook and the physical copy of the book. I'm really excited for Daggerbound to come out, because the way that this book ended is the setup for Daggerbound, and I cannot wait. I'm so excited. And then one of my favorite books of the month, which is probably by virtue of just complete nostalgia and love of a series that is coming to an end, is Charming Puckboy by Eden Finley and Saxon James. So the vlog where I read this should already be out. And this is the 10th and final book in the Puckboy series. I did receive an early copy for review, and we are following Lockie, who is the youngest of the Kiki brothers who we have met through the series, and it is him falling for Sam, who is the manager of an animal shelter in the town where Lockie grew up. They've known each other for a number of years. Sam had teasingly nicknamed Lockie a Disney princess because animals seem to love Lockie, and Lockie just growing up seemed to find animals and would take them to the animal shelter, and they all just loved him. But now we jump into the future. Lockie has just got his first contract in the NHL. He's playing for a team away from his family. The rest of his brothers are playing together. He's 21. He is kind of homesick. He comes home over the summer break and he runs into Sam again, and he's always had a crush on Sam. He's known him for a number of years since he was a teenager. It's a bit odd as a teen to make a move on someone who's older. There's only a 6-year age gap between them, but age difference, etc. when you're a teen versus as an adult. This time, Lockie is determined to prove to Sam that no, he is interested in him, and he might only be here for the summer, but he wants to spend time with him. That's what happens through the course of the summer, is they get to know one another better, they spend time together, they begin to fall for one another, which is challenging because Lockie is about to move away again at the end of the summer for the start of the season. And they have to make a decision about whether or not they want to make a go of a long distance relationship, or what a relationship looks like for them moving forward. The thing with this book being the final book in the Puckboy series, it is really drawing the series to a close. There are a lot of fun things that happen in the book that are Queer Collective related, including the Queer Collective turning up for a fun run that Sam has organised to raise money for the animal shelter. He has no idea about hockey. He has no idea who any of these guys are, except he's had a whole bunch of professional hockey players, very famous professional hockey players, turn up and run in his race, which is incredible. And that's something that Lockie organised so that he could show support for a good cause. It also includes one of my favourite scenes that I think I mentioned in the vlog, where a number of them decide to steal the Stanley Cup from Ezra, who has it for his day with the cup, and then they're very, very drunk at this point in time. There's an entire scene where they think that squirrels are trying to steal the Stanley Cup. Like, it's just silly, silly, silly fun, and it is delightful. Like, it's the perfect light-hearted read with enough heart that you feel connected to the characters. So it's not just an idiots to lovers story. It has some substance to it while still being really fun. Plus, there are a lot of puppies in it, and we love that. And I will say this one did make me cry. Alrighty, and that is my wrap up for March. In the comments, I'd love to know, what was your favourite book of March? Feel free to let me know. Otherwise, feel free to leave me any kind of green emoji to let me know that you're here. I hope that wherever you are in the world, you're staying safe and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, everyone.